Alright, so it's been really a while since I've really done any sort of game review. I mean, it's been over a year since my last one, but I've been grinding nonstop on Black Ops 6 Zombies over the past month since the game released, and I wanted to do a video just to talk about my thoughts on Black Ops 6 Zombies. Now, I'm no stranger to Call of Duty Zombies. In fact, a lot of the early content on this channel that saw a lot of growth was old Black Ops 3 Zombies content, and that was when I was really getting into it, and I've really enjoyed it from the story to the gameplay. So with Black Ops 6, I can confidently say that this is probably the first time since Black Ops 3 that I actually felt incentivized to grind and continue playing the zombies mode. And that's a feeling that I haven't experienced in a long time, and it feels kind of nostalgic. And a lot of that has to do with how Treyarch is rewarding players for their playtime in Call of Duty Zombies. So let me explain that. So with Black Ops 6, not only did they return the traditional prestige system that we haven't seen since Black Ops 4, but they actually gave us a lot of unique rewards that you get per prestige. So it's not simply just resetting the level and grinding through the prestige again. There's actually some rewards that you can get from blueprints to operators and all that stuff, and they're all applicable in zombies, so you actually have an incentive to grind as a zombies only player. This really is something that we haven't really seen in Call of Duty Zombies ever, because at least for the most part, if you wanted to get cosmetic rewards, either they were not noticeable like the face paints in Black Ops 4, or you needed to buy bundles or battle passes like in Black Ops Cold War. Combine that with a significantly less annoying camo grind for zombies over the past couple of years, and honestly, for a zombies only player, if you don't plan to buy any bundles at all, you have a lot of content and cosmetics that you can get as rewards for playing the zombies mode. And as a result, this game just really feels rewarding for you, and you don't feel like you're wasting your time playing Call of Duty Zombies this time around. Whereas in past years, right, you either got nothing or the grind was just so tedious in comparison to other modes that it just wasn't worth your time. I've got to applaud Treyarch here. The progression and rewards, especially for zombies players, is a massive improvement compared to previous games. So 2 thumbs up there. And that's not just all. There are a lot of things here that in comparison to Treyarch's previous zombies game, which was Cold War, I think is a massive improvement in making the game more interesting and just overall more challenging and fun. Now, it does share a lot of the Cold War Zombies DNA with its gameplay and mechanics, but I'll go over some of the more notable changes. So first off, I love what they did with the perk augment system. In Cold War, the entire progression skill tree of that game just made perks completely broken, and you couldn't unequip certain parts and aspects of perk upgrades. So if you didn't like a specific one, or you thought one was making the game too easy, you couldn't turn it off once you purchased it. Now with augments, you actually have some sort of build crafting system where you can equip 2 specific perks and upgrades on each perk, and it really incentivizes you to try out everything and different combinations to see which one fits your playstyle. Combine that with the customizable weapon attachments with the gun builds and all that stuff that you can use in zombies, and you have yourself a lot of customization of how you want to play zombies. It adds a surprising amount of depth to the mode, and you really can play however you want to. Another thing that is a big improvement from the previous game is the salvage system. Now, in the past, salvage was divided into 2 tiers, and there was just a lot of stuff that you needed salvage for. But now they simplified the salvage system where you only need to use it for crafting any support or lethal or tacticals, or upgrading your weapon rarities. And I think that's good enough. And the fact that they unified it into one currency is a big improvement over having to deal with multiple. I feel like with Call of Duty Zombies, you don't need too many currencies since it's a horde based mode and you're not going to be in the mode day in and day out, and plus you're not even going to carry salvage from game to game. So it didn't really make sense to me why we had multiple like currencies like that in Cold War, but seeing them reduce that in 6 is a big improvement in just making stuff easier to understand. I also gotta say that the map selection in this game is probably the best that we've seen since Black Ops 3. I think each map caters to a specific player and playstyle, and I don't think that any of the maps have any massive downsides. I mean, for the most part, they all play very well for a modern COD Zombies game, and they all are excellent, filled with Easter eggs and side Easter eggs, and they offer something interesting for any type of player, no matter what map you choose. I mean, with Terminus, right, it adds that eerie, nostalgic zombies vibe that we haven't seen in a long time, with a fantastic Easter egg, tons of little side quests that you can do, and a map layout that, even though it is still relatively open, is relatively unique in the zombie space. And Liberty Falls is a much more casual experience with a smaller map design and simpler layout, but it's still very fun, and it caters to any type of zombies player, not just casuals. There's a lot of stuff there that even hardcore players can sink into. So overall, I gotta applaud Treyarch here. They did an excellent job with the map selection and the map design this time around to make it interesting for any type of zombies player, to be honest. And I also got to applaud Treyarch for how surprisingly balanced, at least compared to Black Ops 3, the Gobblegum system is. I mean, when I saw the Gobblegums returning, one big fear I had was them making super overpowered Gobblegums to the point where you basically would be forced to spend money on like Gobblegum bundles, similar to how with the Liquid Divinium back in Black Ops 3. But for the most part, with a couple of exceptions, the Gobblegums are relatively well balanced, and a lot of them are not mandatory for your runs. Now, some of them do make certain things easier, such as high rounding or Easter egg hunting, which is pretty obvious, but they are significantly more balanced than what we had in Black Ops 3. And the obtain rates, while they could be a little better, are in no way as bad as I thought they would be. They are surprisingly more generous than Black Ops 3, where in Black Ops 3 you actually had a cap on Liquid Divinium. Here you have the potential to earn more Gobblegums per game, depending on if you go for high rounds or not. And you're always going to get some Gobblegum packs as rewards as you prestige. So while I do think the Gobblegum rates should be slightly increased, I think for right now, the Gobblegums overall are fairly balanced, and you get a good, healthy amount of them without spending money. So that's good to see. Now, is the game perfect? Absolutely not. And there are a couple of key pain points that I want to point out specifically. First of all, special zombie spam past the early 20s and early 30s is just ridiculous. I mean, having to have the firepower to deal with like 7 manglers at like round 30-35 is kind of overkill, especially in context of what previous zombies games had for challenge. It just feels kind of cheap, and it makes the later rounds, the end game rounds, just feel extremely tedious, not because of the zombie elf or anything, but just having to deal with so many elite zombies like abominations and amalgams over and over again. It gets tedious, and it decentivizes a lot of people for going for high rounds unless they're getting their Dark Ops challenges. So yeah, that's my biggest thing. Another thing is the armor system. I still don't understand why we need to plate up manually in comparison to how Cold War worked, where we could just auto plate when we picked up armor pieces. Just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think armor plating really should even be a thing in Call of Duty Zombies, but I feel like people are divisive on this topic. So another thing I have is the online only aspect. And if you have a bad internet connection, lagging in Zombies is never fun. And for PC handhelds, I would love to bring Black Ops 6 Zombies on the go, but being forced to be online all the time means that I can't really bring this on a road trip unless I have a hotspot with me. So yeah, I mean, it's not really the most ideal experience for on-the-go gaming. I just wish that we didn't have to require online for this game. And on the topic of Always Online, let's talk about the updates situation. Treyarch has been good so far with content drops on Black Ops 6 before DLC 1, but there have been a bunch of updates and patches that actually have broken a lot of stuff in Zombies and not addressing actual critical issues with the mode. For example, just a couple of days ago, we just got another update on Black Ops 6, and that has seemingly reset all of the intel progression and deleted everyone's save file, which is no bueno. So I really hope that Treyarch can at least up their game when it comes to these content updates and not actually break stuff in the process, but we'll see what happens. Overall though, just like wrapping everything up here, I am very pleasantly surprised with Black Ops 6 Zombies. I've said it earlier before and I'll say it again. In my personal opinion, I think this is probably the most rewarding Zombies experience that we've ever seen in Call of Duty. And what Treyarch have provided here in Black Ops 6 Zombies is a lot of content for Zombies players to sink their teeth into, both with cosmetics and with Easter eggs. There are still some major gameplay flaws that need to be ironed out, but for the most part, the foundation is very, very strong. And I'm very excited to see what Treyarch brings with their future maps, with especially the DLC 1 map that's coming out soon with Castile. So I'm very, very excited. And, you know, this is bringing me back to that excitement from Black Ops 3 Zombies. Now, is it as good as Black Ops 3 Zombies? I think that's really up to you to decide. If you didn't like Cold War Zombies, then you probably will not like Black Ops 6, because Black Ops 6 is just a evolution of the Cold War Zombies mechanics. So if you weren't a fan of Cold Wars, I doubt that you're going to be enjoying Black Ops 6. But for modern Call of Duty Zombies standards, especially Call of Duty Zombies that we've gotten since Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare 19, I think this is the strongest offering we've ever gotten in terms of content and replayability. I highly recommend that you give this Zombies mode a shot, especially if you were a big Zombies fan in the past. This mode may surprise you. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.